The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Hey, does the devil wear Prada? Or does the devil wear Orca?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People. We back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Why am I talking in a New Jersey accent? I don't know. Anyways, my name is Kyle Bowen. This is a show that gives you your Canucks, yes, your Canucks every day. Subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoy the episode, enjoy the faces, enjoy the conversation. Begsy, my co-host, is going to join me in a couple of minutes, but he's bringing home the bacon, okay? For real, I'm watching him in the lobby, and he's having a meeting. I hope he's not getting fired for doing a hockey podcast during work hours. All in all, though, speaking of getting fired, is Jack Hughes or Luke Hughes about to get fired from hell? I mean, from New Jersey. I mean, from being a member of the New Jersey Devils, okay? Tom Fitzgerald, the GM of that team, had his exit meeting today, and he sounded frustrated. Now, not specifically with the Hughes brothers, right? But with the whole regime in general, okay? Just not good enough. Trying to find more offense. And no offense, again, not good enough. And they're not coming back with the same team next year. He also touched on Jack Hughes' shoulder injury, and he did the good thing, right? The good PR thing. He touched on it, but with rose petals, okay? Not with burning fingers. Or he didn't do the Rutherford and Alvin thing, okay? That being said, through my intuition, because again, he says they have a plan for Jack Hughes this offseason, to get stronger, to continue to develop, because apparently he's been getting stronger and stronger every year. That being said, this guy's missed like 647 games over the last 2 years. So yeah, I'm hearing just a little bit of concern. And again, a lot about how they need to make changes in New Jersey. So I guess, Trevor, what I'm trying to say, there is a chance. There is a chance for Mission Impossible to happen, and that's capitalizing on the New Jersey Devils not being happy.
So, Kyle, you're saying there's a chance, eh, bud? Let's go. Jack Hughes is coming to Vancouver. You heard it here first on Locked On Canucks. Look, Kyle, I know I jumped in a little late here. Late as always, fashionably late. But one thing I was noticing too, just by reading some articles on the Devils side of things this morning, is that Jack Hughes, and sorry if you mentioned already, he wasn't there for the end of season media availability for the second straight day, and now you get reporters and fans asking for accountability, saying that Jack Hughes should be there. He should be at these end of season press conferences. I mean, if Elias Pettersson, he ends the season injured, he goes out there and absolutely takes the heat. For as much as we criticize Pettersson, and look, his answers at the end of season media availability, I don't think it made anyone feel great. So maybe there wasn't a huge benefit to it, but at least he's out there facing the music. Like, I know, like, you're in a smaller market like New Jersey, but can you imagine in Vancouver if we had an injured star player like Elias Pettersson not showing up to the end of season media availability? Of course, it's different with Jack Hughes in the sense that he actually had a good season, but you still want your best players to show up and face the music with the media. And I know he was injured. I know he wasn't there for the playoffs and sometime before, but it's interesting to see that, again, there's some doors potentially opening up here for the Canucks. And I know we're grasping at straws and we're drunk off the blue and green. We're trying to be positive here. But when you see things like this, again, Devils media, Devils fans, maybe not too enthralled with Jack Hughes and him not being there for end of season media availability, it makes you think maybe there's a chance that he comes to Vancouver.
Now, I didn't see anything about the fans not being happy with Jack. I feel like Jack has such a good relationship with that fan base. Again, I'm not a big Devils insider. I'm not 100% keen on like the 100% truth about that statement. But again, this guy seems like face of the franchise, has the charisma, all that jazz to like be a fan favorite, right? And the skill and whatnot when he's in the lineup. But Trevor, if Luka Doncic can get traded, Jack Hughes can get traded too. I'm being serious. And I was listening to Sat a couple days ago, because now, again, I'm addicted to the Canucks and whatnot. I should be listening to more podcasts about entrepreneurship and paying my bills. That being said, I don't know. Sal was bringing up how like the Devils like the analytics. They like the data. Again, I'm not 100% sure if that statement is true, but if that's the case, a guy that is decent with the data, even when he's struggling, is Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, 100%. And I brought it up on yesterday's show too, when I was kind of comparing Pettersson to Barzal and Larkin, and I still got the card right here for those on YouTube. But look at individual defense in terms of forwards. He's right up there in terms of he's always been good at drawing penalties, even this season, and in terms of blocking shots too. I mean, and then in terms of his defensive rating, still ranking as one of the best forwards in the NHL now. Of course, the on-ice offense at 5-on-5 completely dissipated this year. We all know that. But the defensive floor is very high for Elias Pettersson. And, I know Jack Hughes, again, hasn't quite had the same defensive impact. Of course, when you are a point-per-game player, making $8 million, it's a bit of a different story. But to your point, Kyle, again, if we're tying straws here, Pettersson, he still looks good in terms of the underlying numbers, at least defensively. And if a team's analytically inclined, that's why we keep mentioning the Carolina Hurricanes potentially having interest. And hell, they almost traded for him before they acquired Rantanen after a year of Pettersson struggling. A big reason because they're an analytically inclined team. So, look, I think there are believers in Elias Pettersson right now around the league, but I think they're just going to be looking to get him at a discount. That's really what it boils down to.
Hey, speaking of a discount, let's get to this comment. And this one comes from Bash Brothers Inc. This guy's starting a lot of shit in the comments right now. Like everyone wants to bash his head in, right? Starting beef with Mother Knucker. Anyways, he's saying the only way to get Jack with PD is to, retain some of Pettersson's salary. And I don't know, maybe they can make the numbers match up, right? I don't know how much Jack is getting paid, but he's, again, when he's healthy, he's got the best contract in hockey. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Canucks would do that in a heartbeat, and that's retain $3.6 million of Elias Pettersson's cap hit if they can make the math work out just to get Jack through the door. And obviously, they'd have to throw in a lot more. But it's quite clear, like the Canucks aren't winning the Stanley Cup next year. They aren't. So they're going to have to do a lot to impress Quinn Hughes in 1 year to confirm that he's going to stay, because he's already seen success for 1 year. And now he knows that's not good enough. Like, it's not about being good for 1 year. So even if they make it to the second round next year, it's like, that's not going to be enough. So them acting like delusional, but also, again, LA Lakers-esque, like nobody knew that Luka Doncic was available. Like doing whatever it takes to get one of the Hughes brothers through the door and then having a good year next year kind of confirms that Quinn Hughes, a generational talent, is going to be there forever. That's how you do it in 12 months. You acquire one of the brothers and you do really great in 12 months. So on that note, I know we talked about it weeks ago. And Sheldon Keefe spoke really highly of Luke Hughes. Let's talk about Luke now. Like really highly of him. Wants him to, dominate on both ends of the rink, and talked about his size. And yeah, all in all, you would do it though, right? Elias Pettersson for Luke Hughes in a heartbeat?
I'm not sure if I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd have to give this one hard thought. I mean, look, the Canucks' biggest issue going into this offseason is at forward, and they're probably better off keeping Elias Pettersson. Like,
wow, I don't know about that.
Song and dance to, bring the Hughes brothers to Vancouver, and Pettersson is struggling. I think most fans would agree with you, Kyle. Like, get Pettersson out of here for nothing. Just get his cap it off the books. But you trade Pettersson for Luke Hughes, another left shot defenseman. Sure, one that can flip to the right side. Oh man, I think that's a bit of a struggle. I think you're better off betting on the star talent or trading Pettersson for a lesser player. So I think I'm gonna have to go against him this one. I don't know. I don't think I traded Elias Pettersson for Luke Hughes.
But that helps you keep Quinn for such a long time though. And then in that time, I know it's hard to get number one centers, but is Elias Pettersson even a number one center? Look at the way he's acting. I want to believe it. Look, again, I keep bringing up this photo because I'm trying to manifest it. I want Elias Pettersson to look like this. Okay? No, why? I don't know why you're laughing. Those aren't titties, Trevor. Okay, that's pectoral muscles. Okay, so we're not doing anything illegal. We're allowed to show our titties out to the world. Okay, men are. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I want Pettersson to work out, and for all this to work out, and him to be that guy. But again, even if he's that guy, again, and the Canucks are good next season and get to the second round and whatnot, like that's not going to be enough to convince Quinn. They're going to have to do it again the next year, and that's a risk. And I kind of want all this to smooth over in 12 months or 13 or 14 months when he's eligible to sign an extension. Get Luke Hughes, get another brother here, have a good season, be coached well. I know it's going to be harder without that much depth down the middle, but do whatever to keep Quinn for another 5 to 7 years, and then just try to win a cup in years 3, 4, 5 of that extension of, again, keeping generational Quinn Hughes. Now, they trade for Luke. Let's say that happens. They trade for Luke. They get him. Boom, man, that's the splash. That's the splash the Devils make. They change everything up, and it could work out for them very well. I know that leaves us down the middle looking like absolute trash, but maybe you trade Hronek for a center, Tom Melander in the 15th overall pick. Maybe you get 2 number 1. I don't know. But I do know that I would right now, because I'm so scared of losing Quinn Hughes, I would trade Elias Pettersson for Luke Hughes.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you in this one here, buddy. But let's leave it up to the commenters, whether you're watching on YouTube Live or whether you connect with us after the fact, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, social media. Let us know. Would you trade Elias Pettersson straight up for Luke Hughes in terms of mission, keep Quinn Hughes in Vancouver? I see where you're going with it, but it's hard to see the Canucks forward group being demonstrably better next season if you make a trade like that. And I know what you're saying. You can trade other defense assets to bolster your forward group, but and then you basically got the Seattle Kraken up front. You got this amazing blue line. Hopefully you have good goaltending, but where are the goals going to come from? And I mean, we all love Kiefer Sherwood and Jake DeBrusk and Connor Garland are fine players, but man, oh man, that is a tough forward group if you make a trade like that. Pettersson for Luke Hughes.
And for real, one thing that's we got to note. I listened to this Tom Fitzgerald guy very closely, and it took us 12 minutes to get here. But I don't know if they're going to trade Jack because they want to score goals. They want depth scoring. They want more depth scoring. In fact, I thought he was going to fire his analytical department during this press conference the way he was going off about finding, depth and how do they do it and scoring, all that stuff. But to me, it's like Jack Hughes is untouchable. And again, Luke Hughes was talked highly about by Sheldon Keefe. But I just think that anything is possible. And there might be some irrationality coming from Tom Fitzgerald. Now, Pettersson, again, he could still rip it up and come back to life. So the risk, there could be still a reward there. But I don't know, man. If I'm Rutherford and Alvin and I'm so desperate to keep Quinn Hughes, I feel like this is the time to trade for one of the Hughes brothers. It's the time right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they could swing it this offseason, I think they would try. And, man, Elias Pettersson for Luke Hughes, you got my brain spinning a bit, man. Curious what the people think. Let's see if some comments drip in. And on the other side, let's pick up on the trade winds blowing in Vancouver. And let's talk about another former Canuck who has entered the head coaching chat. That's coming up here on Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every day. All right, let's pause for an ad break here and shout out our friends over at Indeed. Did you just realize your business needed to hire someone yesterday? Do you know how you can find amazing candidates fast? You know the answer. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need, baby. Stop struggling to get your job posting on other job sites because Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. All right. Even with me and my business, I've been in that spot where we need the right hire, right now, and the pressure's on like Donkey Kong. And every day with the right person is a setback. That's exactly when Indeed Sponsored Jobs come in handy. They make sure that your post is seen by the right candidates right now. How do you think I found Deepak Roberts III, baby? Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/LockedOn right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast, Locked On Canucks. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed is all you need.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking a lot of ish, making things up, having fun, being desperate. Dude, Trevor, again, the way Mikko Rantanen is playing right now for the Dallas Stars, it makes me even more scared to lose Quinn Hughes. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Quinn Hughes 100% healthy in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Remember, we didn't get to see that last year, and we also didn't get to see it this year. Like, I'm just so scared to lose a generational player. And yeah, I'm just willing to do anything to keep him around for like 5 more years. 5 more
Yeah.
years, 7 more years. Like, I don't want next year being the last year of Quinn Hughes, because I don't know how this organization is going to ever replace a guy like that. And I'm getting desperate. And the Devils, again, Trevor, would you sell your soul to the Illuminati to get to get one more Hughes brother here to keep Quinn forever? I would do it, because I would do everything for my team, everything for my fans, everything for the city. So again, if you're listening to this, Devil, not the New Jersey Devils, I'm talking about him. Again, now I'm tripping out. Now I might be scared to sleep tonight. But anyways, take my soul and keep Quinn Hughes here. Okay, I'm gonna be scared to sleep tonight. Okay, Trevor, can you just shut me up, because I don't want to get murdered by the Devil tonight.
Yeah, I would also sell my soul to the Illuminati
Okay.
to keep Quinn Hughes in Vancouver. I'm not sure if I'd trade Pettersson for Luke Hughes to do it though, because think about this season, Kyle. You had Quinn Hughes playing at an MVP-like level, and it still wasn't enough because the offense was so bad. And it's hard for me to envision PD being worse, even if he's the same player and Quinn Hughes at that level. Like, it's still not good enough. And trading Pettersson for Luke Hughes to bolster the defense that much further, like,
but Trevor,
Bruce Boudreau kept making the joke about Quinn Hughes the management wanting Quinn Hughes to play center. Like, they might actually have to do that if they
change the game. Just keep him. But then you just said it, like, if Quinn Hughes, if Elias Pettersson is a little bit better next year, just a little bit better, that's not good enough. Get this guy out the door then. If he's a little bit better next year, his trade value is, like, we think it's 0 right now. It's like the worst contract in hockey if he's a little bit better next year. Like, if he puts up 60 points next year, again, we got the worst contract in hockey. Man, oh man, I got to get to this comment too, because now Trevor, you're stressing me out. And NGK saying it's Gavin McKenna time, in my opinion. Again, I keep mentioning this. We might see it happen at the end of June, even though Rutherford said he's not trading Quinn till like 2027 if need be. But if Elias Pettersson doesn't have titties like Aaron Donald, not titties, pectoral muscles. My bad. That's a bad word. I'm sorry, children. If he doesn't have pectoral muscles like Aaron Donald by June 28th, I wouldn't be surprised if the Canucks blow everything up, go uber nuclear, and set themselves up next year to get Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, but the reason I don't like that plan is because that's still very far. Even if they land Gavin McKenna, there's no guarantee that the Canucks are going to be a good team anytime in the next 10 years. And I know what we're all thinking, just one cup before I die, please. But again, you go full tank mode and get Gavin McKenna, like, there is zero guarantee. I mean, look, there's countless examples in sports. I mean, look at the Buffalo Sabres. Look right now at the Philadelphia Flyers for a bit of a rudderless ship. I mean, just because you tank and get top picks, I think Arizona, now Utah is another example. They've been bad forever. Just because you tank and get high picks does not mean you're going to build a Stanley Cup contender.
But dude, like, we've been bad forever too. It's just like, I just feel like sticking to a plan. That's what this organization needs. That's what this organization needs, like an actual plan of action and sticking to it. This year, they couldn't stick to it. They blew it up. They couldn't Rick Tocchet couldn't handle Pettersson and Miller. The players themselves, they couldn't handle it. They couldn't stick to the plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I feel as if they went full nuclear and just told the fan base and like their business, like, yo, we're going to sit back and relax and just accumulate and hopefully get a top prospect and just build. At least it's a plan. Because I'm sick and tired of this team having no plan. And right now, the only plan that they do have, and it's been pretty obvious, is, okay, last year we thought we were a contender going into this season, but now we took a step back. So our only plan is to impress Quinn Hughes. Like, they made that so obvious. So anyways, are they gonna impress Quinn Hughes with Marco Sturm as their head coach?
That's a good question. What a segue, Kyle. So Marco Sturm reports today that the Canucks have interviewed him for the head coaching job. I think, what did Marco Sturm play? A grand total of 6 games with the Vancouver Canucks. He's kind of been on the head coaching radar for NHL teams for a little while now. He's coached the Los Angeles Kings AHL affiliate for the past 3 seasons. I mean, look, I can't say I know a lot about Marco Sturm. That team in Ontario has done pretty well, even though the Kings don't have, their prospect system has kind of dwindled as guys have graduated to the NHL. So yeah, he's a guy I've kind of thought about in the past for the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously, he's got the Canucks tie. He's not the coach that excites me the most when I think about potential hires for this team. I'm not going to lie. Even like when I listen to Manny Malhotra after the Abbotsford Canucks, shout out to the Abbotsford Canucks winning Game 3 of their series against the Coachella Firebirds. I just like the way that he talks and communicates to the media. And you hear about him being, very blunt and very honest in his assessment of players when he is coaching them at practice. But just talk about the team chemistry and making lineup changes. And I like his adaptability, and I like the way he communicates. Like a guy like Manny Malhotra would still get me more excited than a guy like Marco Sturm.
Yeah, and I just want to preface again, because when I read the Marco Sturm thing, I was like, oh, what? What's he been? Ontario Reign age? Okay, whatever, right? And then I was like, okay, that doesn't sound sexy. But again, we talked about this yesterday. Curtin Knockenblocker, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Nobody knew who this guy was. He wasn't even winning that much in the AHL. Had a good October last year and was hired by the Oilers, and he's been a really good head coach. Right? So what do we know? Right? Like even I mean, this might be the worst name to bring up. Not the worst name because there's no championships to his name, but I remember when the Packers hired Matt LaFleur. That came out of nowhere. Right? That came out of nowhere. It came and it worked. So if you're a Canucks fan mad at Marco Sturm getting an interview or maybe being at the top of the list now, it's like, just have faith. Like, unless you're sitting down with the dude and like reading his book on coaching and interviewed him himself, like you don't know, what I'm trying to say, Trevor? Just, I feel like we should stress less about him possibly being hired because we just don't know what will happen. But one thing I will tell you is I just want a coach that won't quit on the team. I mean, that won't choose that. I mean, I just want a coach. Did you hear about this? Rick Tocchet going to Boston possibly? The Moj just tweeted it out. Like strong reports that it could be Seattle or Boston. I'm paraphrasing just a bit, but it's Seattle or Boston. And to me, it's like, Rick Tocchet, man, I think you played your cards wrong here, man. Because if there were two teams that were I don't even want, it's hard to even bring up the word mediocrity with the Canucks because they got Quinn Hughes. Like, he's such a special talent. But it's like Boston and Seattle. I know Boston has Pasternak and he still ripped it up this year, but you going from Elias Pettersson to Elias Lindholm as your most expensive center in Boston and Seattle, really? The West Coast? Dude, like, what a time to be alive, for real. Because that would blow my mind and literally tell me that I think Rick Tocchet played his cards wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. And, this is just one article I was reading, courtesy of The Score this morning, and it was ranking all teams that a head coach right now in the NHL, which is the most attractive destination. And Vancouver was 4th on the list. So pretty much smack dab in the middle in terms of, most least attractive. Anaheim was first. They've now hired Joel Quenneville. Then it was Chicago. Then they had Boston ahead of Vancouver based on more winning pedigree. And I guess the guy's still there. But, Kyle, we talked about it before. I don't know if Boston is that much more attractive than Vancouver, especially when you got Quinn Hughes still in the fold here. And Boston got a roster who it's kind of similar to Vancouver, to be honest. Like, you got one star in David Pasternak, at least he's going. And you got a good defense, right? McAvoy, Lindholm, Swayman should be better next year. But it's still a team that is pretty barren prospect-wise. They do not have a great farm system. Like, I know Rick Tocchet, he kind of suits Boston just based on his playing style, the way Boston likes to play in terms of their identity. But aside from that, I do not believe he's got a better chance of winning in Boston than he would in Vancouver. And I'm not incredibly high on either team, but there's not a big difference there. In terms of Seattle is below Vancouver in terms of, attractive head coaching destinations. Like, Seattle does feel like a bit of a rudderless ship right now.
Dude, if I'm Seattle or Boston, like, why are you hiring Rick Tocchet? Like, Rick Tocchet, and we saw it with the Canucks this year. Like, he's kind of like John Tortorella-esque, where he's like getting the most out of your players. And if you don't have a strong team, but you're getting the most out of these guys, like, you're going to either make the playoffs barely or be a middling team. And it's like, dude, Gavin McKenna's available. Right? Like, if I'm the Bruins, it's like, yo, you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have been so good for like 13 to 14 years, and you guys signaled the rebuild last year. Kind of, sort of. And even if it's a retool, at least let it be a quick one that's like a year and a half long, so you're in the sweepstakes for Gavin McKenna, right? Why do you want to hire a coach that's going to get the most out of, like, the guy. You know what I'm saying, Trevor?
Yeah, I
Because
think
Rick Tocchet's not going to be cheap. He's not going to be cheap too. And everyone gets tired of head coach. Like, what if the Bruins suck next year, but you signed Rick Tocchet, or they don't make the playoffs, and you hired Rick Tocchet for $5 million a year or whatever, and then in year 2 he's like a middling guy too. You're just gonna I don't know. It doesn't really make. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, the more and more I look at this, if I'm Rick Tocchet, I'm kind of like, yo, let me do TV for a bit until like a better team is available to go to. Right? Like, you remember when Craig Berube was sitting on the sidelines for a bit, then he went to Toronto? Like, I know he didn't sit on the sidelines for that long, but something a bit more appealing, because I feel like Rick Tocchet is one. If he has 2 more bad seasons as a head coach, I feel like he'll never get hired again.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I mean, look, he's
Because
obviously
his resume
a hot candidate
sucks.
right now.
His resume sucks. Like Jack Adams winner last year, but as a head coach, his resume is outside of last year's pretty, like, it's pretty ass.
Yeah, no, I think he's riding the coattails of a Jack Adams last year. But Kyle, you're right. And the totality of his head coaching experience in the NHL is a little bit subpar. And, he does got to wear, again, we've talked about it before, every Dares know. He did a lot of good things in Vancouver this season, despite the turmoil, but he's also got to take some fault for the turmoil this season as well with the Vancouver Canucks. Last point I'll make about Boston, because this isn't a Bruins show. F the Bruins, F the Oilers, F the Leafs while we're at it, man. None of this Canada's team crap, unless you're cheering for Winnipeg. In terms of Boston, though, you got to remember, like, in terms of them tanking for Gavin McKenna, they missed McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm for, combined 600 games this season. I'm exaggerating, but they are probably not a lottery team unless they have, some terrible injury luck. Like, they are.
True.
I think their floor is too high there. So
no, 100%. And Pasternak again, like
exactly.
If I'm talking about Quinn Hughes, the way I'm talking about Quinn Hughes, like, I think Boston fans got the best out of David Pasternak this year, and like, oh, damn, he's really this good. Like, holy, he made Connor. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a winger to get over 100 points when, like, there's so much turmoil, and Connor Geeky's your number 1 center. Like, David Pasternak, like, and look at the amount of goals he's gotten over the last, like, 7 or 8 years. I mean, I throw around the term generational a lot, but that guy is elite.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's wrap up the show on the other side. I do want to talk maybe about realistic trades between the Devils and the Canucks. Let's chuck one out there. Let's get to a few comments this here. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. Did you ever check your bank account and wonder, where the hell did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, baby, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money, it isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building your wealth. And Monarch Money, they don't just help you manage your wealth, build your wealth, but they help your love life, baby. Unbelievable, because managing money with your partner through Monarch Money is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. And you know what they say, less stress about money means more lovemaking in the bedroom, baby. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year, baby.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Canucks. If you're watching this and you're enjoying the program, please do us a favor and hit the like button. If this video gets over 30 likes, Trevor Beggs will, again, we said this before, he'll get nipple piercings. We're talking a lot about, Aaron Donald's chest muscles, and Trevor Beggs, you got a pair of fine nipples. He'll pierce them, okay? 30 likes, he'll pierce them. And I'll do the piercing. And we'll film it. Allegedly. Okay? Anyways, let's get to some comments. I think Greener had the comment of the year. Okay, honestly, every single Canuck fan, if you're watching this, everyone thank Greener for this one, okay? Literally. Look at this, okay? Tocchet couldn't embrace the hard or meet pressure with pressure. Again, as a head coach, you want to be the most expensive head coach in Canucks history. I want you to deal with the situation between Pettersson and Miller and figure it out. That's best for the team and Quinn Hughes. He couldn't do that. Okay, so again, Tocchet couldn't embrace the hard or meet pressure with pressure. So I'm happy to see him moving his feet to another market. That was Trevor. I wish you were that talented. Okay. Why can't you be that witty, Trevor? I'm just trying to get the best out of you. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to, beef it out with you. Or this is not. I know this is not good for HR, but accountability, Trevor. You can say the same to me, but I want you to be as good as Greener.
I gotta be careful, man, with your new rework deal here on Locked On Canucks.
Okay,
I know you're getting paid 92% of the dough here, so
Yep.
I gotta be careful what I say, man. You know they say about talking back to the ups. You gotta be prepared to get smacked. Speaking of getting smacked, what? Let's get to another comment. Ted Clubber Lang, man. Speaking of getting smacked, so there's your segue. Why would New Jersey trade for Quinn Hughes when they could get him for free? And obviously, it is about getting him early, trying to win a cup earlier, sooner rather than later. But I want to shout out this comment where he said, you'd be likely to get Mercer, Nemec, Hamilton, and a pick. And it's interesting because, I think Jeff Merrick was saying this on another hockey show, but he talked to a couple executives about what a trade would look like, whether the Canucks try to acquire one of the Hughes brothers or whether Quinn Hughes got traded. And they said right now the Devils would lowball because they're saying we could get him for free in 2 years. And I think the package he threw out was actually just Nemec, Hamilton, and the pick would be the offer for Quinn Hughes, which obviously wouldn't get it done. But it shows you right now that, Quinn Hughes, he's not moving to New Jersey, okay? The Canucks are going to keep him around at least for one more season, at least till the trade deadline next year. It's more so about what could the Canucks realistically give up for Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. And Kyle, I think your previous point that you made a couple weeks ago is probably the most astute one. Yep. It's almost impossible to get Jack Hughes out of New Jersey unless there's something going on behind the scenes. Like, hey, Luka Doncic got traded. Anything can happen. Mm-hmm. But what makes the most sense is go after Luke Hughes. I don't think trading Pettersson for Luke Hughes is the answer. Offer sheet territory, the Canucks could get their third-round pick back. But that is probably the most likely path here is target Luke Hughes. Quinn Hughes ain't going anywhere. And Pettersson for Luke Hughes, it ain't happening.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, man. I just want Quinn Hughes so bad for forever. Like, again, the Mikko Rantanen thing, just superstars in general, and I think we're just going towards a time where guys like that, like top 10 players, they're just going to continue to dominate in the playoffs. And maybe that sounds like a crazy statement, but I just feel as if, like, looking at what Draisaitl and McDavid did last year and what McDavid's doing again this year, and Draisaitl is doing, and now Rantanen's doing this, and look at William Neal. Like, I just feel like, you need the superstars, man. Like, there's too many in the league now. Like, literally speaking, there's again, NHL reporter here. I've been watching so much hockey lately. There's just so much talent. Like, the league's never been like this. We're literally speaking in NHL video game terms. I feel like there's like 50 guys that are 92 overall or more. You need to keep those guys at all times. And what Colorado did with Rantanen, like in Carolina too, like, you just losing Quinn Hughes would just break my heart. Okay, let's get to one more comment. Jay Snow saying you're high if you think Jack Hughes is going to Vancouver. I've never heard of a more yeah. I don't know if Jay Snow is new to the program, but dude, it's 420 all the time here. West Coast, best coast. We're actually from Vancouver, Surrey. It is what it is. Of course, that's exactly the truth. Now, Trevor, I don't know if you have another New Jersey trade to like put out there, but after hearing Tom Fitzgerald talk about what he said, this may piss people off even more. I wonder if Nico Heischer's available, man. I wonder if Timo Meyer's available. Like, if it's not the Hughes brothers, I wonder, dude.
But you're theoretically talking about trading Quinn to New Jersey for one of those guys, right?
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I literally don't know. And the Devils want to win now. I just want to know who's available. Like, are they willing to do something drastic to send a message to that locker room? I don't know. Hey, you know what's crazy about this whole thing, Trevor? Again, this is why I think the Canucks had to capitalize on the Devils' irrationality. Is like, yo, Tom Fitzgerald sounded so pissed off today, so pissed off, and obviously he's trying to set a tone of like a no excuse environment. But no team, okay, maybe the Dallas Stars are. I'm sorry, the Dallas Stars, and they won without Robertson and Miro Heiskanen. But dude, it's hard to win without Jack Hughes, and I feel like Luke Hughes missed some time in that series too. Like it's hard. Like that's like a borderline mission impossible. Right? And the Dallas Stars acquired another superstar at the deadline. Right? Like that's how they beat the Avalanche in Game 7. If they didn't acquire Mikko Rantanen, and they had those injuries to Heiskanen and Robertson, like they're not winning. Like Dallas is an anomaly because they're probably the deepest team ever. Like he sounded so mad. And I'm like, yo, if he's actually mad, actually upset, maybe a little delusional, yo, Rutherford and Alvin, they got to keep calling, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if Luka Doncic got traded, if Mikko Rantanen got traded, anything is possible. But yeah, I mean, the Devils, it's easy. They sound pissed off today. Sheldon Keefe had his quote about, we were 16th out of 32 teams in the regular season. That's average. We don't want to be average. But it's pretty easy to spin the narrative like we were one of the best teams in the NHL when Jack Hughes was in our lineup, right? And once Jack Hughes went out, and then Dougie Hamilton went out as well, you started having injuries at the top of your lineup, much like what happened in Vancouver this season. It's easy to spin the narrative that, things are just not going to work out. But the Vancouver Canucks capitalize on the New Jersey Devils being impatient. We'll see. But the one thing I do know is that we got to get out of here on Locked On Canucks. So we appreciate you and you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. Whether you're an everyday or a first-time listener, whoever you are, if you're listening right now, we freaking love you, baby. But we got to get out of here for now. Subscribe and like on YouTube on the podcast side. Go follow us and leave a 5-star review. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
Peace, 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 peace.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.